Welcome to this week's episode of the Soto Mojo Podcast. My name is Trevor.
And my name is Ethan.
And we're just a couple of high school baseball coaches from Tacoma who love talking Mariners baseball. No tagline?
So back.
Oh, so back.
I
There
have
it
to wait
is.
for you to talk again.
You have to wait for me to say something and then you say something.
Because you started.
How many episodes are we into this thing and yet we still talk about your tagline every week? Like 26 shows.
Still haven't talked about it in like 2 weeks though.
All right, whatever. Hey, we have a ton to talk about.
Little time.
Our guys are right. So our baseball season is over, which means that I had far too much time to build out the show notes this week.
School season's over. I still have select.
Fair enough. But I'm just saying, all of a sudden, Coach Whitman has some time on his hands, and now all of a sudden the show notes are like 6 pages long. So we have a lot.
Nerd.
Yeah, nerd. We have a lot to talk about. So a couple things. Quick little note. Red Sox agreed to a contract free agent, Dominic Smith. He's a career 248 average. I mean, they had to replace some injuries at some point, right?
Yeah.
Like
They were getting pretty banged up.
but somehow they kept winning. So
They're pitching.
yeah. The Red Sox continue to be good. In the same vein as Sox, the White Sox, you like that transition?
B plus.
Okay, fair enough. Dude, Tommy Pham just continues to rake for the White Sox. Like just a quality hitter. Like the fact that he went that long without getting signed is actually low key crazy.
I heard it's because he's a little clubhouse issue.
Right, and we keep saying that, but I'm like, you put up with a lot for a 375 average.
True.
And 958 OPS.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I would put up with a lot for that type of statistics. But hanging out in the AL Central, right, with White Sox, dude, these transitions are fire today. I just got to say it.
We're like 2 minutes in.
Whatever, dude. Whatever. The AL Central has 4 teams out of 5 that are above 500.
Yeah.
It
crazy.
Did not have that on the bingo card.
No.
What? Hey, I knew that. I told you the Royals were going to be good, and you told me that the Twins were going to be good. We were both right. But the Guardians.
We did not get the Guardians.
We did not get. Well, I still don't think they hold up. I mean, dude, do you hear that Stephen Kwan got hurt? I actually didn't put that in the notes somehow.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Yeah, so Stephen Kwan is hurt. They called up their stud though.
Manzardo.
And he got a hit.
Wazoo product.
Yeah, Wazoo, WSU. So, anyways, dude, the AL Central out of nowhere is like a powerhouse division. We'll see if they continue to be that way, but
I still think the Twins are going to win the division.
I mean,
to be fair,
the early results sure look like it. Yeah. I'm still holding out hope. I still think the Royals, I told you that they were going to be nasty. I told you last year that like the way they were losing games was still really, really competitive.
I don't know if some of it's sustainable. I feel like because they're not even getting production out of guys that like they signed. So it's pretty much the same team as last year.
And I think last year's team wasn't as bad as their record said, but like I'm just saying.
But it's still 100 losses. Like no matter what way you want to shape it, it's still 100 losses. 100 losses, 100 losses.
I get it.
Still a lot of games.
I'm just saying how the Mariners lost to the Royals last year told me that they were a dangerous team.
Well,
and
Mariners like to Mariner.
That's true.
They like to play down to their competition.
We like to make pitchers that nobody even knows look like Cy Young Award winners.
Exactly.
And we like to play close games against teams that we had no business. But here's the thing I will say. In 2024, the Mariners have busted out some of their, like what they've always been, right?
Yes.
Even last night, great example, a game that we lose the lead late, like Mariners of the past, especially last year, if we lost the lead late, I was like, turn the game off. Yeah, we're good. Like we never
back to chaos ball.
We never right, but yeah, right. 2022 was chaos ball, and we won a ton of 1-run games, and it was crazy chaos ball. But last year it was like, dude, if we lose the lead late,
you're done.
The game's over. And so this year that has not been the case, which is nice to see, and seeing some battle, which is good. We need that.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
Finally, MLB has made a decision on their uniforms, which thank you.
You heard us finally.
Now
honestly, the end of the season,
it didn't get talked about as much just because once the season kept going, people stopped really caring. But I mean, now it's getting picked up. I mean, it was a big issue in spring training. Obviously, we've already covered that.
Right.
So it's a good refresh. Moving on.
But
Okay.
those uniforms, they're not fixing anything for this year.
Yeah.
They're just like 2024 is going to be a wash. They're going to go back to the big letters, all of the things back to next year.
Yep.
So, anyways.
IL news. Byron Buxton again.
Dude,
I can't.
he cannot stay healthy, dude.
He can't. It's impossible.
Could you
Stop
imagine
playing the outfield? I know he didn't get hurt in the outfield, but like, come on. Like the Twins have all these players. Stop putting them in the outfield.
Yeah, and I he's one of those players that like is a non-Mariner that I would love to see what a full season of non-injury would look like.
Yeah. It would be scary.
It would be so good.
It'd be so good.
But
40
he's hurt.
bombs, 40 steals.
He's hurt every year.
Yep. Trey Turner placed on the 10-day IL. This was stupid. Wilson Contreras.
Yeah, did you see this?
Yes. So, for those that didn't see it, he got hurt on a forward swing because someone in the Cardinals system goes, "Hey,
we
want catchers to move up in the box
to get strikes
get
called
lower
on the bottom of the
strikes."
zone. Yep.
And then Wilson Contreras, and like the first game he does it, gets hit on the forearm.
JD Martinez blasts his forearm.
Hits his forearm with the bat like dead on.
Yep.
And then now he's got a broken forearm. He'll be out for a while, which is someone's got to be fired for that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not of firing guys like that, but someone needs to be fired for that because you put, I mean, arguably your best player in jeopardy the second you came up with that idea.
Dumb.
Stupid.
Dumb. We did see big trade news, which is not common for this time of year. Most of the time, teams are not throwing up the white flag. But this year, the Marlins decided that not even a fourth of the way through the season, they're done.
Yep. So they traded Luis Arias to the Padres. Padres ended up receiving 3 prospects and a reliever, but the prospects are pretty good.
Yeah.
They actually got a really good deal.
Three top 10 prospects.
Yeah,
right?
They got a really good deal. But yeah, they waved the white flag early. Arias is someone that would fit with the Mariners, but
and then his first appearance with the Padres went 4 for 5.
Yeah. Have you seen how quick his bat is?
Yeah.
It's like stupid.
But he also just he's not swinging for any power. Like he's going up there basically with a 2-strike approach always and just trying to contact, which I'm like, that's not a bad approach. Like
but he only strikes out 6% of the time.
But that's why.
Yeah.
Right. If you're not trying to swing out of your shorts, I mean, if Julio could just, decrease that by 20%, imagine how much better he would be. But he decides to swing out of his shorts with 2 strikes all the time. Just undisciplined. But anyway, that's a different conversation.
Yeah. But Luis Arias is such a stud, dude. He was my fantasy baseball MVP from last year.
Yep. But yeah, he's gone to the Padres, and dude, great move by the Padres for
sure.
For a season that everybody was kind of washing and just saying, hey, you guys had to drop Soto, you guys had to get rid of all these guys, like you guys are screwed, Hader's gone, like you guys are going to be bad this year. Good for them for making a win now move.
Yeah, I mean, Luis Arias is a career 325 hitter.
Jeez, that's Ichiro stuff, bro.
Yeah, last year at 354 in 617 plate appearances. Insane stuff.
Yep. In future, so unfortunately, in more Taylor Trammell news, we just can't stop giving updates about this guy. Yankees DFA'd him. So he's still stuck in the same cycle. He can't find a home. He went 1 for 1 with 2 walks with the Yankees and then got DFA'd. So he shaved all his facial hair for nothing.
Well, he'll grow it back in a week, probably a few days.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's been sad to see. I did want to also give an update on a name that got debated about quite a bit in Mariner circles for like months in the offseason, and that is Matt Chapman. And I brought him up because he actually leads the league in errors with 6.
Yep.
And has not been doing great with the Giants. He's hit for a little bit of power, but even then, like his hitting stats are not good either. But I'm like, you brought him in to be a defensive dude.
Yeah.
And hopefully give some power, and he's kind of not doing either.
Thanks, Boris.
Yeah, good job, Scott Boris. You did it. High five.
Anyway, so this news just came out about an hour or two ago. Paul Skeens, who's the best pitching prospect in the league by a mile.
Yeah.
Number 1 pick last year. People were honestly debating if he would have gotten called up last year if the Pirates were in like a playoff situation, but he just got called up,
He's gonna start this Saturday.
Starts Saturday. I'm gonna watch that.
Of
If I
course,
can.
everybody's gonna.
If I can.
Everybody's gonna watch it, or at least
But, I mean,
keep an eye on it.
his slowest fastball this year in the minors has been like 98. I mean, he's just carving through guys.
Yeah,
and I've loved watching him in college.
yeah. I know is electric, and it's gonna be fun. Yeah, there was debate about whether or not he was gonna if he was gonna get manipulated. Like they were gonna manipulate his contract to get an extra year of arbitration.
Yeah.
So good for the Pirates for not doing that. Good for them to say nope. Like we're gonna bring him up now because he can help us, and they're actually winning games. So
they're okay.
I mean,
they'll do the normal Pirates fall off mid year.
We'll see. They've got pitching this year, so we'll find out.
Yeah.
We will find out.
They're 17-21.
That's not bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not terrible at this time of the year.
Yeah.
You can recover from that. Anything else for around the league?
Nothing.
All right.
Nothing.
Let's get into our Mariners updates. All right, so let's start with a storyline that started in the offseason and continues. Obviously, we traded Jared Kelenic to the Atlanta Braves as a salary dump, which is stupid, for 2 lottery picks that have already gotten hurt and no return.
Yeah.
Right at this point. And Jared Kelenic comes back into town. He was super classy, had nothing but good things to say every time he got interviewed in the dugout and everything else about his return. And there were people that were booing him, man. Like there were cheers his first at bat, like is what I heard that were from people that were there. But then I guess on day 2 when he played, like he got booed. And I'm like, bro, get a grip. Like it's not his fault he got traded. I mean, as far as we know, like for me, it's like lay that blame where it belongs with Stanton. And then,
are you sure it's his fault that he didn't get traded?
I mean, no. I'm saying there's no way for us to know, which is why I'm not going to boo the guy. Is my point, right? If I don't know like how that happened, then
because I felt like he was going to get moved no matter what, just because of the whole kind of attitude, antics. I just believe it was passion, but people can dictate it however they want.
I thought it was passion. I loved how much he cared.
The thing that I think, I'm not going to side with anybody. Like I would have cheered for him just because of he played for us.
Yep.
Like, the thing that gets me why people booed, probably, I'm not entirely sure, is when he went on the media after and then like trashed everything about us.
Right.
I'm not gonna use the word classy because I don't want to be a boomer, but I just don't know where to lay the lines between like trash talking or just saying stuff on people's names and whatever. I don't know. I'm just kind of yapping now.
Yeah, I get it. No, I mean like I understand. Like there is a lot of feelings around Jared. We did trade a lot with Cano and and Diaz. Like I get all that. Like there's history there. There's history.
Well, like when he got traded, I rooted when he got traded. We were both of us were like, hey, we're gonna root for the guy.
Yeah.
Like no matter what. And then he starts coming out and saying stuff on foul territory,
Right.
on different media stuff, to the Braves media, and then you're like, okay, like dude, I'm trying to root for you here, but you're making it kind of difficult.
Right.
Then there's people there that probably just snapped out of it and we're like, we're gonna boo this guy when he comes back.
Yeah, I get it. Well, one thing that finally the Mariners organization has come around to is ya boy, Josh Rojas. Finally.
I've never seen you so right on a player. Ever.
Thanks. I don't, like that's such a backhanded compliment.
It's not. Because you were like incredibly right. Like
bro,
like spot on.
Bro,
dead on.
And he was really good at the end of last year in 2023. And I just had in my back pocket that if he continued to do what he was doing there, that he was going to be a huge asset to us. But here's the deal. I was simultaneously right about him, but wrong about Urias.
Yeah.
Like we were worried about Urias's defense.
That's been the good thing.
Bro, I'm like, what? No, that and his slugging numbers. The dude still hasn't hit his single. Oh, no, he finally hit his first single.
Yeah,
we'll get that later. And it was an RBI, so that was cool. But what I'm saying is like we were all worried about third base being a position of weakness, and it's arguably been our best position. Like, what the heck?
Other than pitcher, other than starting pitcher.
Both defensive. No, but even the pitchers, like they struggled at the beginning.
Yeah.
So you could literally make an argument that third base between Josh Rojas and Urias has been our biggest strength of the team so far.
Insane.
How dumb is that? So yes, I was right about Josh Rojas from the get, and have been screaming from the rooftops that we got to get him playing every day. And finally, Scott, like a couple of days ago, was like, "Yeah, we got to get him in, even if he's playing left field." Like,
He didn't even have an outfield glove.
right? He had to borrow one from George Kirby, which is hilarious. But finally, they're like, "Hey, he needs to be an everyday player." So what's funny though is then I go take my victory lap, and I'm like, "Boom!" Like we finally did it. And then he goes 0 for 4.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, thanks, Josh. But then he was back on it last night, right? So the first game against the Twins, we'll talk about it when we get there. The offense very obviously was coming in with the idea that their pitcher was going to throw a lot more spin, and then he threw a ton of fastballs. So there was sitting splitter, sitting curveball, and then he threw a ton of fastballs, and we were offset. So anyways, we'll talk about that when we get there. We did want to bring up the streak. Got to bring up the streak.
Undertaker streak.
Yeah. And Sarah Lang's beast mode. She brought up some really cool stats, kind of pulled in Alex, is that the Mariners, she said this, Mariners starters have allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 21 consecutive games, tied with the 1917 White Sox for the second longest such streak in a single season since earned run became an official in both leagues in 1913, behind only the 1915 Senators with 22. So literally,
shout out to the 1915 Senators.
Yeah, dude, those guys were beasts. Yeah. But no, what's crazy is like that
Walter Johnson.
That run.
Yeah.
That run of 21. And honestly, you know what? You know what I thought I had when I got broken? When Bryce gave it up?
Huh.
We're gonna probably do it again. Like
that'd be tough.
Maybe that should have been my hot take today. I think we're gonna have another streak where this season of 21 games that our starters give up 2 earned runs or less. There are patches of games in our schedule that are against weak opponents that like we should just run through.
Yeah.
We should just run through them. So we'll see. But I do have a quiz. Ooh, I finally get to quiz you.
Oh.
I need you to get the order. You didn't see it. I did it on purpose. Don't look up stuff. Do not go to Fangraphs.
No, I'm adding to the notes.
Okay.
I'm adding my hot corner.
Cheater.
I'm adding. You can check right now.
Okay.
Scroll down.
Okay, so here's your quiz. So the Mariners have 4 pitchers in the top 12 in the AL for strikeouts. Can you guess the order of those 4? So most strikeouts to least strikeouts. They're all 4 in the top 12, but can you name the order of those 4 of strikeouts in so far this season?
Okay. How many do I only get one chance?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So list out the 4. So the first one has 49 strikeouts. The second one has 44 strikeouts. The third one has 39 strikeouts. And the last one has 38 strikeouts.
Okay. So the first one has to be Castillo, right?
Castillo.
Because he has the more starts. And then it's Logan.
2 for 2.
I'm going to go Bryce and then Kirby.
God, I hate you so much.
Let's go.
You're the worst. So Castillo has...
I only said Castillo because he has one more start.
So Castillo is the number 2 in the AL. Gilbert's number 5. Bryce is number 9. And Kirby's number 12.
Yeah.
God, I hate you.
Because Kirby... Well,
my quizzes suck. You always get all of them right. It's annoying.
Well, because Kirby induces a lot of like soft contact and ground balls and foul balls. And he never really has like that put away pitch. Not this year. Right. He will later on. But I know Bryce has more put away stuff as of right now than Kirby does. And then I know Logan's been...
Look at that cocky little smile you have right now. That's irritating. That's irritating.
Logan's been it's been carving guys up. Like he's top 5 in like every single...
Dude, Logan's been unreal. Unreal. I can't wait to watch him tomorrow. That's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. We do have some ownership news, which, you know, depending on how you view that, we haven't really seen a lot of additions to the partnership group, but a guy named Brad Smith and Kathy Sarah Smith joined the Mariners partnership group. They don't have a huge net worth, so it can't be for that big of a percentage of the ownership group, but added new people, new voices, hopefully people that care more about winning than turning a profit. You know, the thing that we're actually here to do and to do on the field.
Could affect the trade deadline.
It could. And so we've already talked about Urias and Rojas's defense. It has been really fun to watch. But I did want to get your take. So there have been rumors flying because the Marlins have begun their fire sale. Is there room for Jazz?
Yes.
Is there
The answer is yes.
Is there a world that you see the Mariners are actually listed in the top 6? So according to Vegas odds, the Mariners are in the top 6 of trading for Jazz. Do you want him? What are your thoughts?
I would take him.
Okay.
I
mean, he's electric.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't.
What would you do? Would you trade for him?
I would trade for him. I just think the Marlins would want a lot, considering, especially if it happens before
So we'd have to trade him an everyday
June.
player.
Yeah.
So we'd have to trade him like a Polanco, right? That'd be who he'd be replacing, right? Probably. Well,
we wouldn't have to trade Polanco. We'd have to trade
we could
Ty France.
But you're wanting to trade like positions, probably, right? Because it would be like a like position.
Well, because you could trade Ty France.
We're not
and
trading
just call up
JP.
Locklear.
What?
You can trade Ty France and then just call up Locklear.
Right.
And then move Hags to Tacoma.
I don't know.
Not that tough.
We'd have to. It would be a lot of prospects plus an everyday player, probably.
Yeah, it would probably be
maybe
Michael Arroyo. I don't know what the Marlins want. They're just so weird.
Yeah.
To me, because it seems like they're going after AA, AAA guys, which then you would fall into the no.
They would want him.
They would want him.
I don't think the Mariners give him up.
They don't give him up. They would give up someone maybe a Ty Pete. Or
dude, I'm already starting to clutch my pearls on all these prospects. The trade deadline,
they're not all going to pan out.
I know, but the trade deadline is going to be painful for me because they're going to trade a prospect that I love, and it's going to hurt.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of AA guys.
I don't know. So here's the thing: I don't even think we should bring up trade prospect trade packages at this point because I don't know. We're not even there yet. But I just wanted to ask you, would you trade for him? Is it worth a big prospect package to get him?
I wouldn't say a big prospect package. I also don't know his contract right now. I can look it up, but I don't know. He also has never played corner outfield because he was a second baseman. They converted to center field. He's never played corner outfield, which is where he would play, I imagine.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Because he wouldn't play second base because where's Polanco going to go?
Well, that's what I said. That's why we might trade Polanco on that deal. I just don't.
That is a good point.
I don't even know if they trade Polanco though, because they like that he switch hits.
They like that he switch hits, and he just got there.
True. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I'm undecided. I don't have a really strong opinion.
I would. I don't know. I just don't know the years. That's it.
Yeah.
So I can look that up while you talk.
Well, I'm getting into injury updates, so I can do that. So Brian Wu is he's gone through 3 rehab starts. So as of right now, actually, it happened an hour ago. Emerson Hancock got sent back down. Taylor Saucedo, which I'm going to talk about in a second, got sent to the IL. We brought up 2 relievers for the time being, and then Wu is going to be slotted in to start at some point in this homestand, is what Scott said.
Yeah.
So we are going to see Wu, which is going to be fantastic. He's dealt in all of his rehab starts in Tacoma. He pitched 66 pitches in his last start. I was really suggesting a 6-man rotation. The fact that they've already sent down Emerson tells me that they're not going to.
Yeah, so the roster moves that just happened. So they reinstated Bizzardo from the 15-day IL. Kirby Snead got called up from Tacoma, which was a little bit shocking to me.
They wanted a lefty.
Well, then why wouldn't you go Diaz? But then again, I don't know.
Diaz is more of a starter, probably.
Well, Diaz,
long reliever.
True, that is a good point. But if you're sending down Emerson, then why would you not get a long reliever anyway? So then Saucedo got moved to the 15-day IL.
Saucedo is more of a leverage arm right now.
Yeah, and then Emerson got sent down to Tacoma, and then Matt Brash is on the 60-day.
Yep.
This just happened as of an hour ago.
Yep. So we are going to see Wu, which is going to be great. I'm really excited. Honestly, Hancock last night, and again, we'll talk about this when we get to our game logs. Emerson's done everything we asked him to do. As a 5-starter and a replacement for injury, he's done everything that we asked him to do, period. And so you can't ask for more from that situation. He only had 1 game that got away from him where he gave up 8 runs. Every other game, he kept us in it. Yesterday, he gave up 4 in 4 innings, which wasn't fantastic, but he's a 5-starter. He's a 5-starter, and he's batted above his batting. He has batted above his batting average in my book for what I was expecting for him to come up and do what he did while Wu was recovering. And now if Wu comes in full strength, watch out, dude. We're about to rip off a ton of games in a row that we are just absolutely torching, guys.
Oh, dude.
What?
Baseball Trade Values needs a subscription now?
Oh, dude, you didn't find this out? That was old news.
I didn't know that.
That was a couple days ago. That was so when the Reyes trade went through, people were trying to like put stuff in the sim, and they realized that it was a sub now.
Wait, there's another one.
It's going to make the offseason Baruto.
Yeah.
So Matt Brash, as you heard in that news right there, he did get put on the 60-day. He's out indefinitely. We're going to be lucky to see him in 2024. And more than likely, we won't see him at all, which is a bummer. Santos is getting closer and closer. He is working towards throwing off the hill. We're hoping mid-May, which is like next week. So I don't know if it'll quite be then, but we're really hoping that he'll be back in the next week or two. We did get some updates on Canzone and on JP. So JP is taking BP in Arizona. He's looking good. He's hoping he can swing 100% in Seattle this weekend and then go on a brief rehab stint. They're expecting him back in the next week or two, which is great. Canzone's a little bit behind JP, and then he'll probably have a longer rehab stint down in Tacoma as well. But he did start swinging. So both of those guys are on a positive trajectory. And then, unfortunately, I had to add a player to the injury update list today before we recorded, and that is Taylor Saucedo. He hurt his knee in the second game versus Minnesota when a guy dove at first base, and it was just a PFP that went wrong, and he hyperextended his knee. That just came out, and actually I just reposted, like as we just got started here, Shannon Dreher gave us an update that Taylor, it wasn't as bad as they expected, and that he should only be out 2 to 4 weeks. So that is great news all around on that.
Yeah. So Jazz Chisholm isn't a unrestricted free agent until 2027. So I imagine that's going to be a big haul if that happens. The only thing with him is like he has a pretty big strikeout rate. I think, I mean, it would fit, being comedic wise, but I don't know. He is electric, though. I can't deny that.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah.
To roll around the minor leagues and some highlights across there, the Rainiers have cooled off a little bit. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're at 19-15. Arkansas is 16-11. They're hitting another gear, dude. So Tyler Locklear is hitting .326 with a 1.010 OPS.
Yeah, he's just crushing it.
Logan Evans, everybody's been starting to talk about him recently. He's hitting on all cylinders. And somehow someone found it offensive that I said we were excited that we have an arm behind Hancock for the first time in a bit that we've been excited about. And they're like, yeah, but Wu and Miller got drafted after he did. I'm like, I understand that, but they've been ahead of him in the organization.
Yeah.
AKA they started last year before he did. So we just didn't have an arm behind Emerson that we felt good about. So the fact that Logan is really,
because then it was just like Tommy Malone and Tommy Malone,
Diaz.
Tommy Malone.
No, we were fine with Diaz too.
Yeah.
But Arkansas,
Keuchel.
What's that? Is he still going? Like
I don't even know. I haven't heard his name.
I haven't heard anything recently. We should look that up.
I'm on it.
But anyways, Arkansas is 16-11. Dude, Modesto is 20-6.
They're nasty.
Dude, they're scoring double-digit runs almost every game.
They lead their league in like every single offensive statistic.
Dude,
nasty.
And there's games that like Colt Emerson like will go over, and it doesn't even matter. They still
Pete's in like 6th.
Right. You're just like, what the Lazaro Montez is tearing the cover off the ball, dude. He's batting like almost 500 the last
they need to
2
promote
weeks.
Him.
Yeah.
Oh, and what was his name? Caleb Cali. By the way, if you haven't heard that name, Caleb Cali won like the organization's minor league player of the month. Guy's raking. He has like a 1100 OPS.
Yeah.
And he hits 5th.
Dude, Modesto is stacked.
Yeah.
So what's crazy is like the organization went really heavy on getting arms early, and then they went really heavy on bats. And when those worlds collide,
high school bats.
Right. And so when those worlds collide, it's going to be crazy.
If we can retain our
dude,
guys.
Aiden Smith, I think bats like 8 on this team, and he's like unreal.
Yeah. Like
Modesto is just stupid, and you put them in any order, and they're just like they're raking. They have like all these guys hitting over 300. Like it's. Anyways, if you're not paying attention to Modesto,
there's gonna be a lot of promotions. I imagine
to Everett, where Everett is.
Everett needs it.
Yeah, Everett's at 11-16. Their coach is like, please send help.
Yes, and why are the good guys below us?
He's writing help on the sand in the island because he's just dude. Everett just they're actually doing okay. They're doing better. They're back up to 11-16. And then the Arizona Complex League just kicked up and started this week. And Fellman Celestin started 5 for 10. Like just raking.
Out of the gate.
Just raking.
Yeah. So
and the org is very high on him.
Yeah. For Modesto, the top 7 in the order are Johnny Farmello, Colt Emerson, Michael Arroyo, Lazaro Montes, Caleb Cali, Ty Pete, Aiden Smith.
How is Aiden Smith batting 9?
7.
Or set? Oh, sorry. I thought you.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't say the last 2 because they're not really prospect level.
Who are they? Who are
Milcar Perez and let me look at this guy's name.
It doesn't matter.
Connor Charping.
There you go. Yeah. So right. So Aiden Smith in this lineup is batting 7th.
He would hit 3rd in Everett right now.
Right. He is crushing it, and he's batting 7. Like what a weird. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Johnny Farmello is crushing. Ty Pete is crushing.
So Caleb Cali. This is the name you haven't heard of. He's hitting 375, 2 tanks, 18 RBIs. He has a 1,095 OPS. He has a 500 on base percentage.
Wow.
Insane. Yeah.
Nuts. Well, let's get into what's that?
Modesto nuts.
The Modesto nuts.
Okay, that was bad.
That was terrible.
All right.
Anyways, let's move on. Let's get into our game logs. So where we pick up is the second game against Atlanta. Obviously, we won the first game against them that we did talk about last week. The second game we played against Atlanta, dude, Castillo was lights out.
Yeah.
Just lights out. Went 7 strong, didn't give up a run, 7 strikeouts, only 3 hits, 1 walk on 103 pitches. Like exactly what you need from your dude. Stanek,
dude stuff.
What's that?
It was dude stuff.
Yeah, so this was a game.
Level
so again, I get done yelling on the pod about Josh Rojas, and then Josh goes 1 for 1 with 3 walks. Polanco hits a 2-run bomb. Demo scores, which we'll talk about Demo quite a bit on this podcast. He's been just producing like crazy and been really fun to watch. So we go up 3-0 on them, and then Stanek came in and really struggled on 13 pitches, gave up 2 runs. And then Munoz, for the first time in his career, gets a 5-out save. So he comes out and has to save Stanek's behind. He goes out there, and who did he strike out to end the game? Jared Kelman.
Yeah.
And it was goofy.
Yeah.
Jared's swing, it was like a changeup out of the zone. And
slider.
No, it was a changeup. It was at the bottom of the zone.
Munoz doesn't throw a changeup.
Yes, he does.
He throws a 2-seam and a slider. He doesn't throw a changeup.
He doesn't throw a changeup?
No.
Yes, he does.
He does not.
It looked like a changeup.
His slider.
Yeah.
Outside slider, probably. Yeah.
But it dropped out of the zone on the bottom, which is what normally people throw a changeup. Anyways, and Jared just looked goofy. Like 1 foot spinning around, like not even competitive.
I recognize that
swing. But we did win 3-2. We held on to it after almost blowing a Castillo start. And the reason why that's pertinent is because so we already won the series, and Scott has this propensity to sell. Like if we've already won the series, like he just like sells the last game.
They're totally content with.
I'm like, dude, like I understand
winning the series and then not
guys
sweeping.
Rest days, but can we spread them out? Like, do we have to put them all on the same day?
Yeah,
like that's so dumb to me.
Except we don't play Leo Rivas. Guy hasn't played in like 2 weeks.
Right, that poor guy needs.
He made his debut and then just hasn't played since then. Like literally has not played since then.
Well, who are you gonna sit? You're gonna sit Demo for him? Like Demo's producing.
Well, not for a single day. Like not even a day game.
Right. He'll probably play tomorrow, I bet.
Well, hopefully. I mean, 4 days
in a travel day.
Yeah. Well,
and
this is no guarantees.
And this is a 13-game stretch of no breaks, no days off.
Yeah.
So you would think he would play, but we'll see. Anyway, so Hancock, this was kind of the beginning of him struggling. But Hancock only gets through 3 1/3, has 4 strikeouts on 77 pitches. He walked in the only earned run that he gave up and did surprisingly well. Struck out some of their top of the lineup guys, which Atlanta's lineup is freaking scary.
They had one. He basically gave up 1 big inning, led by a Mitch Haniger error.
That big inning came from Mitch Haniger, who
dropping a fly ball,
hit his glove, hit the heel of his glove and bounced out. Which
Took his eye off it.
if he makes that catch, dude, who knows what that game ends up looking like? But we did give up 4 runs after that.
Yeah.
So that was ugly. Miller, Sauce, Voth held it down and didn't give any more runs. The offense really couldn't get going against Sale. But this is that game, that umpire, dude.
That umpire was
no. I was yelling at my TV. I was so pissed. That strike zone was horrendous.
Yeah,
like
we wanted Scott to get tossed.
I'm like, dude, get tossed. And what's funny is I was not the only one saying this. I wasn't even looking at Twitter during the game.
Yeah,
and I was literally like, dude, Scott, go get tossed.
Fight for your guys.
Go fight for your guys, bro. Like Demo got absolutely hosed on one of his at bats. Haniger got hosed after doing that. Hags got terrible. Like all three.
They were all on the same pitch,
right? And they're the exact same pitch with the sweeper on the outside corner that's missing by like 4 inches, like not even close. And
I hate this excuse too. You have to adjust. If it's not over the plate, then it's not a strike.
Right.
Like, who cares?
I tell my guys to adjust high-low though.
Yes.
So like if it's over the plate, then that is you need to make an adjustment. If he's calling higher or lower strikes, like that's fine. But it was awful. So this
plate is the plate.
So the official scorecard gave the overall favor 1.29 to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Which it should be more than that, to be honest.
But
it changed the trajectory of all the at-bats because they have to adjust to this crazy outside pitch that like is not even close to a strike.
Yeah, it was brutal.
And Scott did not start Josh Rojas, and I was not happy about it. But people had opinions about that. I'm like, listen, they're like, well, why, you don't want to lose him, his confidence, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, first of all, he's hitting like 250 or 240 against lefties, like going back to the Mariners last fall.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's fine.
We would take that.
We would take that. Like, since when is that not good? And then you don't want to hit our best hitter against their best pitcher? In what world does that make sense in baseball? You're like, you know what? I'm going to sit my best hitter right now because I'm worried about him losing confidence against their best pitcher. It's like stupid.
Sure,
okay.
Dude.
Okay.
Anyway, so we have an off day, and then they head to Houston, and game 1 versus Houston was brutal. Kirby started. He was very good. 6 innings, only gave up 1 run. He only had 3 Ks.
He didn't get a lot of whiff, man.
Yeah, he just hasn't. That's why when you quizzed me earlier, I put him 4th because he hasn't gotten whiffs that he did last year. Blanco, we tapped up Blanco a little bit.
Yep.
Polanco hit a solo homer. Demo hit a 2-run homer on the Crawford boxes.
Dude, we're up 3-1 going into the 7th.
Yeah.
We're feeling good. That
3-1 going into the 7th. Like every other game this year has told you that we are fine, and then the wheels just completely fall off. Thornton gets put in.
Dude, I'm so sick of Thornton getting leverage spots.
Yeah.
Like he's blown a bunch of games where like he comes in and just gets hit super hard. I'm like, Scott, why do you keep doing this? So he was my player of the week, 2 weeks ago, because he was doing really well. And now like the last 3 appearances he's had, it's been terrible.
You know what that means, right? It's your fault.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course it is. It can't be Scott's fault.
No. How dare that?
How dare I suggest anything?
Yeah. So Thornton gives up a bunch of base runners, and they put in Spire.
So this plan was janky to begin with. So they put in Thornton. You know how I know they screwed this up?
What?
They put Gabe Spire in against 3 straight righties. Yeah. Which means that they put him in because they had to, not because that's what they were planning on.
Yeah.
So Gabe Spire comes in, who's a lefty specialist, against 3 righties after Thornton struggled. And they give up, 5 runs? No, 4 runs.
4 runs in that inning.
And
then they put in Bolton. They used 3 pitchers in the 7th.
And then he walks in a run.
By the way, it was strike 3.
Yeah.
But they called ball 4.
Right.
And that ends up costing you. But it didn't matter anyway, because then in the 8th inning, we get 2 guys on, Josh Rojas, Julio.
Josh Rojas, surprise.
Yeah, Julio. And then, we have 2nd and 3rd.
Because we advance on a wild pitch.
And I forgot who hit the fly ball.
Polanco strikes out.
Yeah, Polanco strikes out.
That gives us a first out.
And he hits a deep fly ball to right field.
Haniger hits like a medium fly ball.
It's
deep enough.
Scoreable.
In my opinion, it's deep enough.
Yeah.
But then Acta holds up Rojas at 3rd, which I don't agree with. I think Acta should have sent him. Now, There's an argument to be made. You're down 2. You need 2 runs. If Josh Rojas runs into an out, then you're at 2 outs with one guy on 3rd. I get that.
Then you have second and third and 2 outs and a base hit ties a game.
Right. And that's probably what he's thinking.
But
so they don't send him. But Josh Rojas is fast. Kyle Tucker does have a good arm. But hindsight is 2020. The throw was offline. Rojas would have walked across the plate.
But why would you? I don't understand why you wouldn't send him, because I'd rather have a chance at getting the 5-4 game than a very low chance of a 5-3 game, and you need a base hit. By the way, this is just math. A base hit only happens 25% of the time, 20% of the time. With us, it's more towards 20. Literally just math. That's what batting average is. You can't count on that to happen.
Right.
Especially with 2 outs. I think Handy did his job.
I think he did too.
Yeah. And then Julio, like I said, Julio doesn't look up.
And then runs into an out.
Like
Little League stuff, dude. I was like, what just happened?
That's when you knew it was game.
Right.
That was the game.
So Julio just puts his head down and starts running to third, and Josh Rojas is trying to get his attention, trying to get him to stop. He won't. And then Julio gets rung up, and so then Josh tries to make something happen. He gets rung up, and then they get the third out right there on the base paths, and that was the game.
Yeah.
So cool story, bro.
It literally wasn't the game, but it was the top of the eighth, of the eighth. Then you just feel dead from that point.
Yep. So I'm like, we have a 3-1 lead going into the 7th inning, and we don't win, which is very rare. We do not see bullpen meltdowns like that very often.
Yeah. So moving on to game 2, this was a breath of fresh air.
We don't even need to talk about it that long because it was just that amazing.
Yeah. Logan Gilbert, 8 innings pitched.
We won 5-0.
Shutout, 6 Ks. I wanted him to go to the full distance, but I understand why not.
I'm glad he didn't. It's the first appearance he's had where he actually looked like he was tiring out.
Yeah.
Which is weird. He was tiring out in like the 6th. I actually was hoping that they were going to pull him out after the 7th. Yeah. And then he went into the 8th and finished it up. So
Cal went yard. Urias had a good day. Garver had a good day. It's basically it.
Cal had another right-handed bomb, which we're going to be talking about that a lot today. It's a theme that we're going to be consistently talking about.
Yeah. So then moving on to the final game against Houston. This is the one that was the best easily of the series. Bryce Miller started. He ended up going 6 strong.
He got hit pretty hard.
But he
gave up 4 runs.
He man through it.
Wasn't his best
the innings,
but he honestly kept us in it.
Yeah, so he gave up 2 through the 6th.
He was cruising into the 6th.
Yeah,
and then gave up a
2-run tank to Tucker, and then he goes back out for the 7th, and he gives up a 2-run tank to Singleton to end up giving up the lead. It was 3-0. Then it goes to 3-2. Then we're down 4-3. Rayleigh hit a home run this game. That was awesome. And then at the top of the 8th, Demo gets hit by a pitch. He then advances to second on a balk. And then Luis Urias has like an 8-pitch at bat, pokes an outside slider up the middle.
Hits his first single of the season.
Yeah. Demo
scores Demo to tie it up.
Who saw Demo's read on the base pass, it was perfect. Turned around, made sure the ball got through, and then absolutely turned on the Jets to score.
Yep.
It was a bang play.
Yep.
Then the game remains tied. Bottom of the 8th, top of the 9th. Hayter comes in, and he gives up a tank to Cal Raleigh.
To the Crawford Bosses on right-handed bat.
Yeah. Jeez. I mean, he crushed it. 111 off the bat. Absolutely nuked. Cal Raleigh hit a bat flip. I mean, Hayter, I don't know what Hayter's doing.
I love it. Keep imploding.
Slider, and you go fastball right down the middle.
Yep. He had those 2 sliders and then left that fastball up and in, and Cal just absolutely did not miss.
So it was a great back and forth game.
Yep. And then Munoz closed the door.
Yeah. Good for Rayleigh.
Yep. Got his first bomb. Then we go to Minnesota, and it's another Castillo start. He goes 6 1/3, gives up 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 7 Ks on 98 pitches. He had a perfecto going through 5. And then Ty had an error that then got fixed as score change as a hit because it barely nicked the base, which you're like, okay. But he was throwing a perfecto to that point. Ball goes up the line. Ty misses it, goes into right field. It's a double. Correa started getting hot. He hit a double. And then they scored there. Woods Richardson was just carving us up, dude. Just carving us up. We made him look like a Cy Young Award winner. Now, listen, he's good. But he is not that good.
He's not that good. He was in the
I think he had
Barrios trade.
He had 12 strikeouts, I think, that day.
Yeah, I was somewhere.
So that was great.
Classic Mariners offensive.
God. But then they put in Jax. We get the bases loaded with no outs. And you'd think we score a bunch. Nope. Ty strikes out. At least we get something when Garver hits a sac fly. And then Luke really strikes out. So rock and roll.
Yeah. Woo.
Castillo also got squeezed pretty gnarly by the home plate ump this game. There were 3 strikes that were called balls in the same at bat to Kepler that like everyone was like, what the, it was in the box. Like we're not even talking about like edges. Like we're talking about in the box pitches. So he got crazy squeezed. That was not the case for the Twins. And then he gives up, a double to Correa, infield play, gets an out without giving up a run, intentionally walking Carlos Santana, Mariners legend. And then Vasquez hits a sac fly. And I'm like, why are you pitching him at the top of the zone when you need a double play? Like, I just don't, like, what are we doing?
It's simple stuff.
It's simple stuff. You need it. You walk Santana to open up the double play, and then you pitch Vasquez all fastballs up in the zone. What are you doing? You're like, why are you calling for fastballs at the top of the zone? I mean, I get you're trying to get the strikeout, but you're asking for him to hit a sac fly, which is what he's thinking the whole time. So whatever, it didn't end up being the difference. They pulled Castillo for Thornton, and then Thornton promptly gives up an RBI single, and that's the game, right? We get shut down by Minnesota's bullpen.
Man, but breath of fresh air yesterday.
I don't know about breath of fresh air. That game was stressful.
That game was stressful, but I also didn't watch it. So, I see the final score and I read about what happened. I'm like, oh yeah, glad I didn't have a heart attack this game. Emerson started 4 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, gave up a 3-run tank to Jeffers.
He got hit.
All the run, he didn't strike out a single person.
Yeah.
All 4 of his runs came in 4 batters.
Like Jeffers had a big 3-run home run.
Yeah. It was single followed by double and then a 3-run tank.
And hit hard.
Like
Jeffers absolutely crushed that.
Jeffers is a stud, by the way. That guy rakes. And then the bullpen was okay.
No, but they were in a good spot to take the rest of the game because they've had a lot of rest. Like our starters have been going so deep into games, like they haven't been used a lot. There's a handful of guys that like hadn't been used at all.
Yeah. Haney went yard. Demo had a double and a triple.
Yep. He has to stay in the lineup, dude.
Yeah.
Like whether it's in left field, whether like when JP comes back, like give Polanco a day off, give Ty a day off. I don't even care. Like Demo needs to be in the lineup. Period.
Yeah. So this game was
back and forth. Yeah.
4-2, and then we put up 4 in the top of the 7th via
with the grand slam.
The grand slam by Cal Raleigh. Pinch hit grand slam.
Big dumper.
From the right side again.
From the right side. Dude, if he gets hot from the right and the left, like he's already at 9 home runs this year, dude.
I know.
He tied the same amount of home runs that he had from the right side all year last year, and it's May.
Yeah. So then we score 4 in the top of the 7th. Minnesota scores 1 each in the 7th and the 8th, tie the game. Then we score 4 in the top of the 9th, and then shut them down bottom.
Who scored the go-ahead run, or who hit the single to score the go-ahead run in the 9th inning? Josh Rojas. Baseball is life.
Yeah, we had 10 hits, 10 runs on 10 hits, so it was a good showing. But yeah, Demo started off the top of the 9th with a triple that Austin Martin completely did not read off the top of the wall.
Yep.
Later comes around to score, and it was awesome.
Yep. So great game. Obviously today we're about to get started in about 40 minutes. We're recording this right before first pitch on Wednesday the 8th here. But yeah, I mean, this series against Minnesota's really hot. Our schedule's been brutal, by the way.
Yeah.
Like we've been facing like World Series team, division leaders, like just stupid out the gate. And now we're going to Minnesota where it's like, yeah, we ripped off 12 in a row before we faced you guys. It's like they lost 1 and then played us. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So super hot team. It's like our schedule has been, other than the Rockies series, that was the only place that we like took a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Those Colorado Rockies, got the breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
But anyways, man, our schedule's been crazy, and it doesn't get easier from here either. Like we still got, and Oakland is hot, and we're playing.
They just beat Texas today.
Oh gosh, and
they're playing a doubleheader.
I was gonna say in the first game,
and they're winning the second game.
Wow.
To be fair, it's the second.
So that means we're tied for first again then, if Texas lost, because we were down by a half game. So there's
Dude,
that.
Langoliers is raking.
Yep. He almost hit for the cycle. He did the hard parts of the cycle.
And he just went yard in the second game, too.
So he had a home run, a triple, and a double, and then needed a single for the cycle. I didn't see if he
And then
got
had
it.
another home run in the second game.
So speaking of, let's get into our division updates. All right, so since we were already talking about division, let's get into division. So Houston, who we just played, Jose Abreu officially got optioned down to AAA to, and I quote, get some ABs and his timing back right. But they're starting to look more like themselves, dude. Like the series against us, they were not pushovers. Like that was a really tough series. That they looked human, which is a new thing for the last couple of years. They haven't looked like that. They looked human, but still, like it was rough. Although they got smacked by the Yankees yesterday.
Yeah, they did. They're now 12-23.
Amen.
Man.
Amen.
Moving on to Texas, they just had a lot of IL stuff. So Nathan Eovaldi goes on the IL. Wyatt Langford goes on the IL. Scherzer is still shut down with a forearm issue. Dane Dunning lands on the IL, who was like their only guy that actually stayed with the entire team last year.
Dude, how many more injuries can they sustain? They're still like winning games, which is crazy.
Yeah, and they ended up taking first place from us.
Well, but now all these injuries are really stacking up. I mean, we just played against all of those guys when we just played.
Eovaldi, Dunning, Langford, yeah.
We played all three of those guys, and now they're all hurt. They did take first place back, but as Ethan
now we're
said,
tied.
As of this morning, we're tied for first. And if they lose to Oakland, then we actually retake first before we even start our game against Minnesota.
Technically, we're in first. We have the tiebreaker.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. Well, sole possession.
But they were starting to get hot. But now I'm like, I wrote that in the notes, like, starting to get hot. It was just a matter of time. With their injuries, man, like,
I'm not so sure.
I don't know. We'll see.
Moving on to the Angels, they're angeling. Trout's injured again.
He got his
not expected to end the season, but probably out for a while.
Probably 3 months. I mean, dude, LA is just going to LA. Like, they're going to be bad.
And then, other than that, the Angels are just angeling.
Dude, they started out really hot. They do this. They start out hot to begin the year, and then they just implode, and it's over already before it even got started.
And then Oakland. Whoa, Oakland.
They are on a heater. Well, they were on a heater. And then Texas broke it up, but today maybe they're getting right back on it. Yeah. Dude, Abraham Toro, Mariners legend, almost is at a 500 clip the last 10 games, dude. It's like 490 something. Like, good for him, dude. Like, seriously, good for Abraham Toro. Like, that's cool. And like you said, Langoliers is just absolutely torching the ball right now.
Yeah, he's such a hitter. He's such a hit or miss type hitter.
Yep.
It's either home run or strikeout as a catcher, which I'll take as a catcher as long as he's good defensively.
Right.
Rooker's doing well. Blade is doing well. Seth Brown's struggling a little bit.
Did you hear the hilarious quote from Mason Miller?
I did.
So he got asked why he doesn't have an epic closer entrance, and his response was
the lights
because the lights might not come back on. When I read that, I read it and I was dying laughing. Like that's funny because it's probably true.
They're getting production out of like Tyler Nevin. How I couldn't tell you. Ruiz has cooled off a little bit, but they've been pitching.
But Brent Rooker is finally getting going too, so that also helps. So, anyways, the current standings right now, the Astros are 12-13, Angels 13-23. Or sorry, Astros are 12-23, Angels are 13-23, the A's are 17-20, Mariners are 20-16, Rangers in 21-17. I just updated that, so there's that. So we are tied for first, but yes, we have the tiebreaker. But if the Rangers lose to the Athletics in the second game of their doubleheader, we will have sole possession. Sole possession will be up by a half game going into our third game here against Minnesota.
Ooh, I didn't see this. The Rangers are starting Jack Leiter.
Again?
Yeah.
They called him back up?
He must have been the 27th man. Because I didn't see anything about this.
Oh, because of doubleheader.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, well, let's get into our player of the week. All right, man. So this guy has to be my player of the week. I mean, absolutely stupid. Big dumper. Cal Raleigh, 3 home runs in the last 5 games. Super clutch at the end of games when it matters. You have the heroics in Houston and Minnesota. His teammates are like, you just expect this from Cal for him to do these things. He's already hit his 5th home run from the right side, like I said, which is his career high. Yes, he's batting only .213, but that average is rising. But he has 9 home runs, 20 RBI, dude, 463 slug. and then a 769 OPS. Yeah. He's been a beast behind the plate. You want to look and point to a reason why our starters went 21 consecutive starts, giving up 200 runs or less. It's big time Cal. He's calling those games. He is calling those games. The starters trust him. You don't see them shaking him off as much as Bryce was shaking off of all of that one start. All I'm saying is Cal Raleigh has been a freaking dude.
Yeah, so my player of the week is Dylan Moore, who has been nothing short of good since JP went down. In the month of May, Dylan Moore's hitting 263, 391 on base with a 579 slugging for a 970 OPS. He has a 13% walk rate. This is just the month of May. And a 21.7 K rate. 21.7 K rate is what we would take every day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
For our team.
That's 2% lower than the league average at 23.
Exactly. We're in the 30s, by the way.
Yeah.
It's bad. He has 178 WRC plus, so he's 78% better than league average. Doing this as the last hitter in the lineup. He started, I think
he batted
off
lead
one
off,
game.
The one that Rojas didn't play.
Yeah, which shouldn't happen.
Right.
He's played pretty decent shortstop since JP went down. He had a web gem against Atlanta.
Yep.
That play was saved the game. That play was insane.
Charging and then throws it as he's diving. That was the weirdest. It looked weird, but it was awesome.
I know what he was trying to do.
Yeah,
he didn't look like he was diving.
He was just trying to get rid of the ball.
It was a bang bang play. I mean, they literally call it a bang bang.
Yeah, so he was sprinting in, charging the ball, picks it up and throws it to first and falls over forward as he's throwing it, just trying to get it out of his hand. So
shout out Demo.
Great. Shout out Demo, dude. Both those guys have been carrying the offense quite a bit because guys like Julio have been struggling.
Annie, Garver.
But then those guys sporadically have had home runs the last week also. So super weird. Our offense still is not clicking. It's still really annoying. We still have games where we're striking out friggin' 16 times a game. You're just what are we doing? So whatever. Our pitchers are going to continue to keep us in games, but guys like Cal and Dylan, keep doing what you're doing, man. Let's get into our hot corner. I know you were struggling with your hot corner. You want to start with yours?
Yeah. So I saw a trade earlier that went down today. The Rangers acquired Robbie Grossman
from the White Sox.
Yeah. I think the Mariners can do something similar to that. Hopefully an outfielder, but we need someone who is better than what we were putting on the field right now, because what we're rolling out is not really sustainable. I mean, we've already seen Mitch Haniger really struggle. Really struggle. And for some reason, he's still hitting fourth. I don't understand. You're hitting him above Cal? Idiotic. But anyway.
Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah. But we need help in the outfield. Maybe that answer is Canzone comes back sooner than later. I'm not the biggest Canzone fan, but it is what it is.
He is coming back soon.
Or, maybe you traded Ty France for an outfielder and move Luke Raley to first. That could be something they do and get an outfielder. I want them to be aggressive because I want them to see the open door that they have for not only for the division but for the American League in general.
Correct.
Baltimore is beatable. Right. The Yankees are beatable. Every team in the Central is beatable, in my opinion.
The door is open.
The Rays are not as good as they have been. The Astros are obviously down so far.
Texas is down so far.
Declare them dead. Right. Texas is down, literally down people.
This is the year. This is the year to take advantage of all these other teams weaker than normal, for sure.
Exactly. And that's what Texas did last year.
Right.
So we should do the same.
Yep. Agreed. Well, my hot corner is really hot. It's kind of gutsy. So I'm saying that Kirby and Logan will combine to only give up one run between the two of them these last two games in Minnesota. So tonight and tomorrow, between the two of them, will only give up one total run.
Hope so.
It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
The Twins lineup it's so Mariner.
Yeah, you're what are you doing?
Jose Miranda, I texted you about this earlier.
Yeah. Why
does Jose Miranda go from 9th to 5th? Jose Miranda is not the type of hitter to be hitting 9th.
To 2nd.
That's like if we hit Mitch Garver 9th. They're the same player. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
Now they're hitting Manuel Margot 9th, which makes sense.
Yep. Not the guy you want. Yeah.
Really Castro. Really? Trevor Lornick is raking. Jeez. Yeah, so is Kepler.
Yeah, Trevor's good. And Kepler's good.
Shout out guys named Trevor.
Shout out. Those guys are awesome. So anyways, hey guys, we somehow did this in under an hour, which is insane. That was 6 pages of notes, which was crazy.
Impossible.
But hey, thanks so much for listening, man. Like, it's really cool. Like, I run into random people all the time. They're like, hey man, listen to this episode. Or like, I'll have random people like drop like inside jokes that we say on the show. And I'm like, whoa, you actually listen? Like, that's kind of cool. But no, we're super blessed that you guys are paying attention. We love doing this every week. We look forward to doing this, and really appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate the support. Go like, support by commenting, go subscribe, go do all the things that you do on podcasts, on YouTube, all the things. We are all in those places. We're going to start putting up video shorts on our social media, so you can go like and repost those things wherever those things are at. That'd be fantastic. I'm going to be more active on Instagram here moving forward, and it's going to be great. This podcast has been, like I said, just a blast to do every week. You got anything else to add here, E? Money?
No, I'm just watching this A's and Rangers.
All right. Well, this is the Soda Mojo Podcast.